Welcome to another video. In this one we're going to take a look at my John Coltrane Blue Train collection here. We have 6 different copies here, several on CD and a few on vinyl. I guess I'll get started with the CD copies first. The very first copy I bought was the 2003 Rudy Van Gelder digital remaster here. Just your standard Blue Note CD here. A lot of them look very similar to this. The colors are slightly different for each. The earlier copies, the CD does look quite different, and there is no extra photos within the booklet. I don't think there's extra photos in this one. Let's see. Not just original. Well, let's see. Yeah, there's some photos. This one of which is in the newest edition. So we get a alternate take of Blue Train in here, and an alternate take of Lazy Bird, which is in another version that I will show. So that's from 2003. Digital transfer by Rudy Van Gelder back when he was still alive. Hang on. And this is the version I listened to for quite some time until I learned that there were analog versions on vinyl, so I bought them. So the next version I bought was the low fidelity version that came out in, I believe, 89 or 90. You just get the original album tracks here. This sounds pretty good, but it is obviously compressed. You can hear it, in the audio. I'm not going to get into the booklet because I've shown this before, but you get an image that the album cover that is more true to the original, kind of grainy, kind of low light. Then the next version I bought, which is the 1985 Ron McMaster analog to digital conversion, which actually sounds really, really good. This is the silver on blue disc. And this, I was fine with this for a long time. But at that time I kind of didn't know this was coming. But so there you go, just original album tracks. This is a BMG edition, but Ron McMaster's work on this was, he did really good on this. Unfortunately, he was let go from Capitol not too long ago, and they closed down one of their mastering studios. They still do have their recording studios open there at the Capitol building in Los Angeles. But what a fantastic album. And this is, again, with this picture of the album or transfer is more true to the original. It does look a little bit better than the original. I've never seen an original copy on vinyl. I don't own them, but would love to hear them one day. Now, here's the recently released John Coltrane Blue Train. Blue Train, the complete masters. So with this, you get original pictures here on the back that came on the record, and I'll show those again in some vinyl editions. You get the original album remastered by Kevin Gray, along with the, I don't know if they did much to the false starts and alternate takes of all these songs, but they sound fantastic. It is from the original analog master tape. That is the source for this release. There's also a mono record and a stereo record set, along with the extras included on a record with whichever package you buy. I opted not to get those since I already have a mono and stereo record set, or records here by different audiophile companies, and I'll explain those later. But yeah, this was released September 16th of 2022. Originally released on September 15th in 1957 as a mono for quite some time, for about a year. Then they released the stereo a year later, according to Kevin Gray's interview here on YouTube about said album. But so it's 2 discs. I'll show the discs. So there's the first one. Here's the second one, along with pictures of the master tapes that were used as the source for this release, which Kevin Gray said that the master tapes are still in fantastic condition. They're undamaged, so they sound great. And that's awesome to hear, from an older album like this, which is not a bad thing. Excuse me. There we go. So that's the original famous image that they used and cropped for the original cover. Here's more photos. Some that have never before been seen. What a great record. What a great record. Love it, love it. All these pictures were taken during the studio sessions for this album. But I'll comment some on the alternate takes. They all sound great. You know, from the starting track, Blue Train, ba da 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 da, just great stuff. Then they go into this just, sprawling song that's kind of all over the place. Solos, trumpet solos, trombone and tenor sax, piano solo, just the whole band comes in and does their own little solos throughout the song, and comes back around to the opening notes or tempo of the song. What a release, guys. I really enjoyed listening to this a couple times. I still have not listened to the actual original tracks, remastered album tracks, but I will get to that and talk about that in a future video. But that's it for the CD copies. That's 4 of them. Then I also purchased this a while back, the Analogue Productions 45 RPM 2-disc 2-vinyl set by Analogue Productions. This was released back in 2008. As you can see, well, let me get my information card out. There, then you can see the picture. This is a numbered edition of 710. I think they released 1,500 of these. It was pricey when I bought it. It's even more pricey now. Good luck finding it. So it was mastered at Acoustic Mastering by Kevin Gray and Steve Hoffman. So we will get into the contents. This is not... Oops. I only have one other acoustic version, acoustic vinyl release, I believe. Maybe this is the only one. But nice glossy jacket. It's thin. It's one of Analogue Productions' slightly earlier releases. But they did release a whole bunch of Blue Note stuff. Oops. And that is evident here. And, what do you call it? These are all the releases that they did. And they also showed the master tapes, which are also in the Blue Note CD release, which is really cool to see these each time they do these types of releases. But Music Matter Jazz re-released all these titles too at one point in time. They're very expensive, or at least most of these in this pamphlet here. And yeah, they're very, very expensive. I consider buying a few of them, including the Kenny Burrell, but those have been released. All these will eventually be released on the actual Blue Note Classic vinyl series, which is much more affordable. You don't get as much with the packaging, but these are great. So I'll show the discs. Here's the 45 RPM disc. I'm not going to take it out. It did come originally in the sleeve. So with that, we then have the Music Matters Jazz Mono edition. The other one, Analogue Productions, was the stereo. So this is the mono 1-disc on SRX single vinyl disc. With here you can see they use the high definition transfer of the album cover, which was manipulated within a computer to just show more. They brightened up the image, and Music Matters Jazz did a fantastic job with this release, especially in these pictures. You can see they restored them or just used the original images as the source for these for this release and other Blue Note vinyl issues that they did. As far as I know, they are not releasing anything new. All that personnel and the man in charge of all that, Joe Harley, has moved all their efforts to the Tone Poet series, which it is fantastic. This just did get a Tone Poet release, and that the complete masters Blue Train is a Tone Poet CD release, the first ever. So, and this is a gatefold. And the Tone Poet is very much like this release. Very similar to it. So we'll get those out of the way so I can open this up. Just beautiful artwork. Unfortunately, mine is torn, but that's fine. Our beautiful pictures here. Nice high resolution. The guys at Rudy Van Gelder Studio in Hackensack, New Jersey, back in September 15th of 1957. I almost said 2022. So, the Tone Poets also come in these same plastic sleeves. Here's the 33 RPM edition. It sounds really, really good too in mono. I must say, this is worth the premium price that I paid for it. I'll just say it was in the hundreds. It's not, it wasn't too crazy at the time. Sorry, you guys have to see pillows. Put this back in carefully. Yeah, I mean, this album, I've heard it so many times. Then you actually have Francis Wolf's signature here, which is really cool. That's been not in other editions. I wonder if it was in the original or they just added it for this release, not sure. But this album I've listened to many, many times over the years. It's a good one. But this was also remastered by Steve Hoffman and Kevin Gray as well. That's really cool. They're involved in 2 different versions of this album. Well, now Kevin Gray's been involved in like 3 that I know of Blue Train, so he's very familiar with the tapes and how they sound, and just how to improve the album if needed, for each individual release of said album. Will I buy any more copies of this album? I highly doubt it. The complete masters is also being released on Blu-ray audio. It's gonna get a Japanese super audio CD release. I imagine it didn't get one here in the U.S. because of Analogue Productions released their own version back in 2008, so maybe they still have the rights to that here in America. I'm not sure. That's really the only thing I can come up with. Here's the spine. Very deluxe packaging with this and with the new version. I don't know if it's gonna... It may not focus, but yeah. So get the audiophile editions while you can, including the complete masters. That is an audiophile edition as well. Kevin Gray has done great work with this album and each release, especially the newest one. Get this record. You won't be disappointed, especially if you're a jazz fan or you're just getting into jazz. This is a great starter album. So that's the collection, guys. Look forward to a few more updated album collection videos of different artists. I will be recording and posting those videos very soon. So thank you for subscribing and watching.